You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Action.
My name is Billy Boy. Unfortunately, I'm an aspiring comedian just trying to learn the rules of the road. And to do that, I'm hitting the road, visiting the cities and towns that allow stand-up comedy to thrive, meeting up with comedians, checking out their sets, and talking about the traffic jams, roundabouts, and five-way intersections that we all face. And you? Well, you just called shotgun. This is a trip down the open mic turnpike. Today, the open mic turnpike brings us home sweet home, to our home base of Chicago, Illinois. Summarizing Chicago is a monumental task because Chicago doesn't really follow a theme. Chicago doesn't have a genre. Chicago has, well, everything. Trying to film in the heart of Chicago, it's impossible. Because the heart of Chicago is Chicago. Chicago's a collection of neighborhoods, and they all bring something different to the table, which makes cruising through the city kind of a road trip in itself. Downtown gives us iconic architecture, a seamless blend of the old and the new. The north side gives us the Cubbies. The west side gives us the Bulls and the Blackhawks. The lakefront gives us Da Bears. And the south side gives us the White Sox. And even though Chicago is only the third largest city in the U.S., it produces more B-roll ruining fog than New York and LA combined. Chicago is a river town, and it's a lake town, and it's a beach town. Well, a few months out of the year anyway. You want museums? Pick one. You like theater? Take your pick. And every neighborhood has its own comedy club. These places are everywhere. These cool little legendary joints are the places where the big comedians got their start. It is really difficult to not sit here and just ramble on about what Chicago has contributed to the world, especially in terms of stand-up comedy. But the question that Chicago asks better than anywhere else is what's next? What does the future of comedy look like? Who are the new legends of comedy going to be? My money is on this guy.
My name is Dario Durham. I like long walks on the beach. I'm funny, I think, right?
Not only is Dario funny, but he's successfully making a name for himself in Chicago comedy, which is not an easy task. How does an aspiring comedian transition from open mics to a brand name? I sat down with Dario to talk about that journey. You're from Chicago, right?
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Where at? Where at in the city?
Southside, 62nd and Campbell, 79th and Paulina.
So I'm guessing White Sox, right?
Absolutely not. I'm a diehard Cubs fan.
No kidding.
Man, I got it tattooed on me.
How does let's see that.
Yeah, check it out.
Holy cow.
I mean, well, the Cubs played on WGN, and that's the only thing I saw. And then all of a sudden I saw another Chicago team. I was like, what the hell is this? like what? They got,
win.
They got the win finally.
Exactly.
I cried like a baby too.
So on Facebook, social media, I tried to piece together your comedic resume.
Yeah.
And the answer I came up with is you do everything.
It feels like it, right? It looks like it, doesn't it?
What are you involved in? Give us the rundown here.
Right now, I'm the host of the Rise and Laughter Showcase at My Buddies on Monday nights, where we showcase some of the latest and newest comedians in the city, and we have an open mic afterwards. So I just took over for that, producing that show. Open mics and doing shows here and there. It's really good to be wanted.
And you do roasts too?
I do roast. I roasted my friend Brandon. Brandon's a big dude too, so if you're looking at this, Brandon, I won't go over the roast, but I won.
How long you been doing stand-up?
Stand-up for going on 2 years this May.
2
years.
You've accomplished a ton in 2 years.
I know. I'm trying to win Rookie of the Year.
I was not expecting that answer. So how did you get to where you're at in 2 years?
I started because realistically, I was going to strangle somebody on my job. You need that outlet, man. You need that outlet. And so I actually started with Second City, and I did the A3 program for improv. And after that, they were like, man, you should keep on going.
Yeah.
This is my opportunity. So I did that, and the rest is history, man. That was back in 2016, 17. So
legitimately, I thought you had been in this a lot longer than you had. As a comedian, I want to know, how did you skip the line?
I equate a lot of what I have going on right now is I like to network with a lot of people.
Sure.
And I like to work with a lot of people. And I just like being nice to people. And I think when you give that respect where respect is due, people see that.
So for part of the show, we do ask you to take us to your favorite place in town. Tell us a little bit about where we're at here.
Man, we're at Mickey's Retro Grill. This is by far, in my opinion, it's the best food in the city. Right here in Hyde Park.
This is cool.
It is really cool. It's got a nice feel to it, too.
So the question of the day, this is going to determine who buys here. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Chicagoans love their flag.
I know. I think I know where you're going with this.
What do the bars and stars on the Chicago flag mean?
Where do you want me to start? You want me to start with the stars?
Oh, no. Take it away.
I'll start with the bars. So
okay.
The 3 white bars represent each side of the cities.
Gotcha.
The 2 blue bars represent the north and south branches of the Chicago River. And now for the grand finale, right? You get the wallet ready?
I'm looking. Just go ahead and finish it up, and I'll look for my wallet.
So the first star represents the Chicago Fire. The second star represents Fort Dearborn, the World's Columbia Exposition. And then we got the Century of Progress, just to be, there you go.
I'm going to go buy us some grub.
Let's go get it.
So it turns out Dario knows Chicago, and Dario knows where to eat in Chicago. Mickey's Retro Grill, it's just that, a friendly, no-nonsense Chicago diner. They're cooking up burgers and sandwiches, fries, wings, that kind of soul food that just keeps you warm during a Chicago winter. And even though I wound up having to pay for it, a burger at Mickey's is worth every penny. This looks fantastic. What is this?
So this is Joe's Double. It's stuffed double. One of the biggest, sloppiest, best burgers. Yeah, show them.
Oh.
I think it's fantastic, man. And then I got jerk fries over here.
I don't know how to attack it.
You just got to go in head first. That's how.
This is exactly like trying to put together a set. You don't know where to start.
No, you really don't. You really don't. Beginning, middle, end.
When you're looking at this, when you're looking at the burger of comedy as a newbie, I don't know if all new people run into this, but I want to pick it up and take a bite. I'm so convinced that if I just spend another minute looking at it, I can get it right. And that keeps you from eating the burger.
Yeah, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Just go.
Just go for it.
Just go. But people have always told me that I was funny and you should do something with it. I had no clue what to do with it. So I was actually sitting down with my daughter, my sister, and her husband at their dining room table. And I had like a little breakdown. And I said, man, what do I do? I literally asked them, what do I do?
In general?
In general. Yeah, just in life. I had a breakdown. My job at the time was rough. And, it was a bad situation, like financially, I think I was struggling there, and personal relationships were not where they needed to be, and I just sat down and I literally asked them, what do I do? And my sister said, well, you can make people laugh, and I kind of rebutted, and I said, what does that do? What does that do?
It's a great question.
What does that do? What do I do with it? How do I make people better? So I was just down on myself. And it was that moment that I always go back to, where you kind of need that breakdown, just to, whether it's you physically cry or whether you just say it verbally, and that was it for me. And no joke, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I kid you not, I had been researching Second City, and I rolled over in the middle of the night, and I took my phone. I signed up for Second City, and that was it. That was it, man. That's powerful. You have to have that moment. And in my comedy career, that's going to always be the moment that I go back to. It's that real breakdown, as happy as I am all the time, you go through it. You do go through it. I'm human. Everybody's human. I think if you don't go through it, that's when, you should probably reassess some things,
right.
Be honest with yourself. That makes you tough, man. That makes you real tough. And if you have a goal, I have a goal. My goal is not to make money. That's not my goal. My goal is to make people happy. We live in some crazy times right now, man. And the last thing, the only thing I can do is make people smile and make people laugh. You know what I mean? Some of the best things that you can do and that you can hear as a comedian, when you get off the stage and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, that joke really hit me. That made me feel good. That you talking me off the ledge right now, or whatever it is, That's just a powerful moment. And if you hear that, you succeeded. You did what you're supposed to do, and that's how I feel. People can pick up on that. If you're up there trying to do it for yourself, they're going to know. Yeah. If you're up there doing it for them, for the comedy, got them in your pocket. Yeah, man. It's just for the what did Michael Jordan and all the NBA players, for the love of the game. It's literally for the love of the game, man. I love it. I love what I do. Comedy it's a vice. You know what I mean? It's an outlet. And it's a challenge all the time. Every time it's a challenge. Every time you go out there behind that mic, it's a challenge. So that brings up a question. Personally, I've been wanting to ask, as I listen to my own material. Yeah. Comedy is like any other skill. You learn it, you get better at it. Mm-hmm. But like any other skill, you can do it wrong. You can teach yourself how to do it wrong. Yeah. How do you know when you're doing it right? The laughs. That's how you know you're doing it right. When you get those laughs, that's the validation right there. When you feel comfortable, too. When you feel comfortable, that's how you know you're doing it right. No two sets are alike. Your delivery, your cadence might be different from time to time, but that validation of the crowd laugh right there, a genuine laugh. You could tell a genuine laugh, you know what I mean, when you get that crowd to move like that.
If you've only done open mics, I hope it's not just me, but to me, a room full of comedians at an open mic is the hardest group of people in the world to make laugh.
It can be. That's not a bad place to be necessarily, because there's a different level of feedback that you can get from them. It's easy to make a person laugh that came out to laugh and is probably drinking, already. It's easy to make them laugh.
What are some pitfalls that you've run into that maybe people who are just getting into comedy don't know are coming?
I think the biggest pitfall when you're into comedy, that fry's so good to try to leave.
Right.
If you're not in the moment, I think that's a pitfall. It's
Sure.
when you don't live in that moment. I'm telling you, like, if you're in that moment, you can riff better. You can listen to feedback better.
Sure.
You could deliver better when you're in that moment. It's just you can handle a heckler better. So like just be in the moment. And I think everybody comes out and wants to be so funny right away. You know what I mean? You want to strike fire right away. You want to be great. You'll be good with time. Just be in that moment and just be receptive to that moment, whether it be the feedback from another comedian or the crowd or whatever that scenario is. Just be receptive of that and live in it.
So can I totally put you in the moment then? Put you on
me
the
in
spot?
moment. Put me in the moment.
Camera one just heckled you. Go.
Oh, man. Camera one just heckled me? Well, that's okay, man. You two-faced anyway. You're not even looking at yourself. You're looking at me. So, right.
Hit it, boys.
So we just paused the cameras for a second so we could scarf down these burgers.
Man, it was good. How'd you like it?
Fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, I told you.
So I want to talk about something that's very important in comedy.
Okay.
Which is continuity.
Yeah, right.
If you jump out of sequence during a joke, it just makes the whole thing sloppy, right?
It really does. I mean, nothing makes sense. So now the crowd can't follow you.
One of my pitfalls is I'll write a joke down, laugh at it, go to bed, wake up, and read it again and think that's garbage. So you never end up doing it on stage because you don't even think it's good enough to make it there.
Well, yeah, that happens. You know what, though? You got to try it. That's what open mic comes in. And trust me, it happens to me all the time. It's funny because my place of doing that, I always rewrite and rethink my jokes in the shower. I come up with like the best stuff in the shower. Like I'll write something down, think it's good. I get in the shower and I'm like, that's trash. This is better, So and then that's what I'll perform it that way.
I'm trying to live in the moment without picturing you in the shower.
Well,
so when you're going into an open mic, if you have a joke you're kind of on,
deliver it. Like I always say, we're here now. You started it, just do it, because you don't know what's a hit and what's not a hit. You really don't know.
Yeah.
Until you try it. And honestly, sometimes I'll write some things down, parts that I think are funny, that are the punchline. And people don't even laugh at that. They laugh at the other stuff, So, you got to try it because you just don't know. You don't know what's going to be the actual joke, until you test it out.
I mentioned online that I was doing an episode with Dario, and everybody started sending me questions. So, you
wow.
ready?
Okay, yeah.
All right, so here's what we got. MP wants to know, what is the most common mistake you see beginners make?
Bailing on a joke.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people. They give a tell. Like when you start to mess up and you show your hand. I think that's the most common mistake, because think about it. A lot of people don't know that you messed up because they don't know the joke. So if you just bail on it, now we all know you messed up.
All right, so this one comes from Simeon P. in Chicago.
Okay.
It says, I'm just getting into stand-up comedy and improv, and I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive. It's interesting. So far, everyone I've met has been very supportive and awesome to be around. Is this always the case?
No. No.
There you have it.
Nope. Answer that question. It's not always the case. But it's good, though, that you're starting out and everybody's supportive. You need that. And there's a lot of supportive people here in the city. But there is a level of competition even with support. You know what I mean? I think,
right.
And I think you have to have that competition even with the people that are supportive also. You need that. You need that competition. How is you going to get better?
So before we go and catch the show tonight, I have to circle back to this. Again, I had assumed you had been doing comedy for a much longer time than you had, just because you are very successful in it. You have a big name for yourself in Chicago. Was that linear? I mean, was it a steady progression, or did it just blow up at a certain point?
I think it literally just blew up at a certain point. So back in, I started 2017, and I just fresh, So I think
Right.
July had a show, right? July had a show, and it's an open mic. I go up there. I'm number 3. I done a few open mics, and I'm ready for it, right? I bomb. I bombed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man, I bombed, man. I was like, dude, this is it. And I quit. I quit comedy.
Wait, quit comedy entirely?
Man, actually, yeah, man, I wasn't about to get embarrassed ever again in my life. I quit. And then, Pete, my friend Pete, who I went to Second City with, he's kind of had this idea to start his own show, because open mics were tough, and he was going through the same grind that I was going through.
Sure.
And what can we do to kind of give ourselves some elongated time, Let's put a show together. I know a guy who will give us a spot right over at North Bar. He talked to the owner there, gave us a spot. We put a show together. That show was such a good show, a comeback show after never doing anything. I did no comedy for 5 months.
Wow.
And I came back and gave a good 22 minutes.
22 minutes?
I kid you not. I think I still got the video.
I don't know anybody who's gone that long.
I'm dedicated to it. Wherever this journey takes me, I've had a lot of fun already. I'm sure I got a lot of friendships and a lot of relationships that I've grown from this, and I'll keep it. But as far as me ending, I'm like Tom Brady, man. Like he just won the Super Bowl. He still said, man, I'm not quitting. I'm not done. So I got a long way to go.
So tonight's show, you're doing 8 full minutes, right?
Yep.
And you're hosting it, too.
And I'm hosting, yeah. And I'm hosting. Yep.
Can't wait to see it.
Oh, man, it's going to be a blast, dude. It's a great lineup.
Perfect. My buddies, let's head over and see some comedy.
Let's go see it, man. Let's do it.
Dario and I made our way across town to the city's north side, to My Buddies. This is a Chicago gem. When you walk in the front door, you get a sense that you're in a saloon. The walls are wood, the lights are dim and comfortable, and in the back is one of the coolest stand-up venues I've ever seen. A separate room, a single mic, and its own bar. Dario's hosting tonight's showcase, which means we'll get to see him do a set and also introduce the next lineup of comedians.
Yeah, buddy. Now's the time. This is real. Real. We need real claps. My Buddies. It's a Monday night. Thank y'all for being here, man. This is fun. We got a packed house to start. You know what I mean? This is good. Normally, y'all show up on Color People time, and right around when the features start. Like y'all some bullshitters. Not today. On the slipperiest day of the year, y'all decide to show up on time. I like it. That's inspirational. Because Black History Month, we need a lot of inspiration. That's what this month is about. Right? Good thing we got black people in here to clap for that. You know what I mean? It's really good. Man, I'm happy. The Black History Month, y'all do anything to celebrate anything? Black History Month, y'all do anything? I'm talking to black people, not the white folks. I don't expect that much pressure for the white folks to celebrate us. You know what I mean? Like, turmoil is high right now. It's high. It's funny because Black History Month, I'm doing things treating it like a holiday, like a sacred holiday. I'm fasting. Right? It's something new. I'm fasting particularly from white women. I think they need a break. I'm gonna give them one. They got 28 days to get their shit together. We're gonna resume normal activities March 1st. Probably March 16th when we start celebrating St. Patrick's Day. That's when you can kiss them because they're Irish. That's when you can do that. But man, it's good, man. Hey, it's the cold weather. Y'all getting sick of this cold ass weather? I'm so sick of this cold ass weather because it's unpredictable, man. One day the weather people right, the other day they wrong. Like they said, we supposed to have this rain and freezing shit last week, and it didn't happen. Now all of a sudden they threaten us again. 6 o'clock in the afternoon and evening, we gonna get freezing rain again. I don't know if we should believe them or not. You know what I mean? I don't know if we believe them. And this cold weather is so unpredictable because, we black. I'm black. So ashy is a real thing. And, when the cameras and shit gonna be on you, you gotta carry lotion. I forgot my lotion today. I forgot my lotion. So now, how when black people, when we get lotion and ashy, our hands get ashy, we shake a lot of hands. We do the secretive thing to nature's lotion. You know, we look at it. You know what it is. If anytime you see a brother do this in the corner, we trying to get that wet part, you know? Trying to get that part right there, you know? Trying to get that part right there, you know? That's part you shake your hand. That's your hand is out there all the time, man. You know, people, it's the first thing you look at, goddamn. You can tell your age by how cracked your shit is, you know what I mean? It's like a tree stump. The ashier you are, the older you are, you know? When you're young, the shit just heals itself, you know what I mean? I don't know, shit, I don't know. It's weird. No. Black History Month is a time where you should be reminded that racism is dumb as fuck, right? Racism is dumb as hell. And there's no need for it. There's really no need for it. I feel like if you're racist, you put a lot of extra work into it. Like, back in the day when they came up with that random ass fraction that black people are only 3/5 a human. Who the fuck thought about that? Who said, you know what? 3/5 their ass. You know, like, they're not whole, they're 3/5. You know what I mean? Who said that shit? Now, 2018, we still dealing with dumbass racism. And I, for one, said, hey, look, since they want to play with numbers, I'm going to play with numbers too. And I'm going to start discriminating on people. I got no problem with it. And I'm attacking mixed people. Because I am. Because if we using numbers, it's a numbers game. Mixed people are at the very most 50%. 3/5 adds up to 60%. So mathematically, black people are better. Just saying, it's numbers. It's just numbers. I'd be damned if a mixed person tell me what the fuck to do. Now's a good time to tell you I got a mixed daughter. I got a mixed daughter. She's black and white. I love my daughter, but sometimes I wonder what side she on. You know what I mean? Like I don't quite know. I ain't figured out yet. You know what I mean? It's hard because she 8, so she's starting to talk now, and she can form like actually really good sentences. You know what I mean? So now whenever I yell at her, I gotta make sure my sentence is on point. You know what I mean? Because she got good clapbacks. Daughter's smart as hell. Back in the day, man, I remember I knew something was gonna be a problem when I told her ass to go to her room. And it was like, first of all, I knew I was out of character by telling her to go to the room instead of whooping her ass. You know what I mean? I hung out with her mom too long. Got caught up in that white shit. She didn't want me to hit her. And it's my baby girl, I can't do it anyway. I wasn't gonna do that. No, that's not right. If it was a son, I'd slap the shit out of his ass. You know what I mean? But she said, I told her to go back to her room. You know what I mean? I said, hey, Olivia, you go back to your room. I didn't say it that calm. I said, Olivia, hey! You go back to your goddamn room, stop talking to your mama like that. She looked at my ass and goes, sized me up a little bit, little short ass. She walks up the stairs away from me so she knew I couldn't catch her. And she goes at the top of the steps, Dad, you go to your room. I chuckled a little bit because I was like, that's my side of her coming out. So I can't even be mad, I'm proud actually. Stick up for yourself. You know, this is the first step to being your own woman. You know what I mean? So I casually walked upstairs and I got her and I said, hey, Olivia, I don't appreciate what you said. She just started bawling, crying in the pillow. And that's when I realized, I'm like, that's the white side of her. She knows that's a defense mechanism. I can't do shit about it. So I left. And I waited till she was done crying and I asked my mom to go up there and handle it. That's how you divert. You know what I mean? Like, pretend like you're gonna be a tough figure. You know what I mean? And then you just walk away. You know? Hey man, I know why we, and by we I mean black and white people have been arguing, and I'm harping on it because it's Black History Month. You know what I mean? I want to end racism. You know, like I want to end it. I want to end it because it's dumb to me. You know, I like women March 1st. I like them. You know what I mean? Like. I'm coming back, but before then, I want us to get shit together. You know what I mean? I want to get together, and communication is key. You know what I mean? Communication is key to everything, right? It's key to everything. If you don't have communication, you bound to fuck up. I promise you that. I promise you that. And I understand why we don't communicate well, why we don't understand each other. It's just that's all it is. A communication problem between black and white people. you gotta understand when a black person and a white person is telling truths. You know what I mean? Because I don't think we believe that. You know, we don't believe when a white person and a black person tell the truth. We don't believe each other. For example, when a black person is telling the truth, you know what I mean? We real extra. You know what I mean? Like, if you accuse us of some shit and we're not extra, we lying. You know what I mean? It's just a fact. You know what I mean? If you say, hey Dario, man, did you pay your bill? And I said, yeah. And then he said, no, you didn't. And I'm like, yeah, well. You know? I didn't pay the bill. But if you say, Dario, did you pay the bill? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And then you say, no, you didn't. And I'm like, what? No! I swear to God, oh God, I paid my bill. What? Are you serious? Are you serious? We get super extra. You know, like, this is what we do too. If we sitting down in the seat and you accuse us of some shit, we get up, we pace this motherfucker real hard. What? Are you serious? Are you serious? Oh, hell no, man. What the hell? Oh, he tripping. He tripping. He tripping. But when a white person is telling the truth, they just gasp real loud. It's a deep inhale. You know, it's a deep inhale. That's how you know they're telling the truth. So if I saw this, I was at Target. This is where I came up with this bullshit. I was at Target. It's like the land of the white women. You know what I mean? It's the new Starbucks. Matter of fact, there's Starbucks in the Target. Maximizing on all possibilities. So I was in line, right? And this lady was in front of me. And she says, I'm sorry, that was on sale for $9.99 because it didn't have no tag on it. And the cashier goes, no, this was on sale last week. And she goes, woo! And it was so deep, it made me shudder. I felt that shit. I was like, she's not lying about this. Like, and the cashier radioed and said, hey, no, it's like this. Domestics, lady says she got this towel. It's the such and such towel. Can you see if it's on sale? Guy comes back. Yeah, the sign is still up. It said $9.99. And the lady goes, told you. And I was like, that's how you can tell she's telling the truth. I promise you this. You watch you accuse any white person of anything, they're gonna deep gasp. You know what I mean? Just make up some random bullshit and they gonna gasp. Walk up to a white person and be like, hey, your credit score just dropped. They telling the truth. You know what I mean? It didn't drop. Enough of my dumb ass, man. We got a fire ass lineup tonight, man. I promise you that, man. That lineup's just okay to y'all. I put a lot of, hey, honestly, since being doing what I do now, I treat Chicago comics like fantasy football. Not lying, I'm sorry, comics. I'm sorry that I subject to you like that. I sit in the room and I'm like, all right, it's my pick. I want Rolando right here. I want side next round. It's just me by myself. And I hype myself up too. I'm like, ooh, boy, this is a tough one. Ooh, next. Oh man. Who you getting? Talking to myself. No, just gotta fake it till you make it. Give me Mars, you know? Give me Morrison, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, oh shit, I got one more pick. God damn, this is hard, man. We need a kicker, but we need defense. Who we need? You know what? Give me Ben. Give me Ben. He been good. That's how I treat y'all, man. This is fun. I pick all the best. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just me, you know? So I never lose. I never lose. And I love you all. That's my way of saying I love you. Thank y'all for doing the show. We got a fun show. Like I said, we got a bunch of comedians coming up. On your tables, we got the right list out there now. We got the right list out there. Yeah. All right, the right list out there, guys. Make sure the black person run this shit. You know? It's like a family reunion. Make sure the potato salad done right on time. No, we got lists on the table, and those are for the comedians. They all got drinks in their names. And here's the fun thing about it. Every time you buy a drink with the comedian's name, that comedian gets $1. So, it's slippery outside. Ain't nobody driving. Everybody riding the bus. You know? So help a fellow comedian out. You know? That's all I got. We got 8 minutes and 5 minutes. We're going to light right over there. My man Ahmad, co-producer of this thing. He going to be lighting you from right over there. Yeah. For those that gonna drink the basic drinks, the non-comedian drinks, we got Sean behind the bar. Making some lit drinks. Rum and Coke. What is my drink? Buy that one. I don't even know. Somebody tell me what my drink is. Tequila and pineapple. I make this shit and I didn't even. Why did I do that? I don't even fuck with tequila like that. Tequila gonna kill my ass, man. I'm gonna come back up to the mic, second person, and be like, man, what the fuck is going on here? We having a show. we having a show. Amai, come get me. If I start tripping, come get me, bro. Hey, man, I'm gonna have myself. No. You know what? I'm a random pick. No, I'm gonna have myself. I need that dollar. I need the dollar. Y'all ready to get this thing going? Y'all ready for the first comedian? Man. Hey, this first comedian is a very good story, man. Comedian coming up here. We did the open mic for the first time together over at Laugh Factory. That was our first time there. We did the open mic together, and we became friends right there. She funny as hell and crazy at the same damn time. She's white. Y'all put your hands together. Y'all put your hands together for my girl, Jenna Ray. Let's go.
You look good.
All right.
You look good.
How in the world do you have so much energy? That wore me out.
I'm a crackhead on the inside.
That leaves me nowhere to go.
Yeah, right. That's the plan. Leave your ass wondering. No. No.
Well, first of all, fantastic job tonight.
Thank you.
What really impressed me is not only did you keep the energy up introducing everybody, but while you were sitting there the whole time, I could hear you laughing, supporting everybody, and that's fantastic.
That's what it's all about. Support.
Is this the thing you're going to keep on doing? How much longer are you going to do this?
After a night like this, we got to keep on going until they keep cutting the check. It's not, yeah, I'm gonna keep on going. No, it's good. No,
I love it.
We're gonna, as long as it's Chicago comedians, we're gonna keep on doing this.
When you're doing open mic, one of the things that kind of holds a lot of new people back is you're afraid of going out and bombing, and then immediately that's how the comedy community is going to label you. Is that the case, or do people give second chances here?
No. You're gonna bomb. The best comedians bomb. I bombed on like Saturday, I guess. I don't know. Like, it happens.
Right.
It happens, But that's practice. You know what I mean? It's not a bomb. It's a practice. So every time you come out here, it's a practice. So just keep doing what you got to do.
Thank you for doing this.
Hey, man, it's
Love
been a
it.
pleasure,
Could not be
man.
more excited.
Man, thank you. Thank you for having me. You got a good platform here. And,
love it.
I hope I help somebody out.
Absolutely. Open Mic Turnpike, my buddies, Chicago, Illinois.
Open Mic Turnpike, my buddies.
You're next.
You next.
Dario's energy is contagious, and the crowd loved him for it. The question is, are you ready to take the mic? If you're a stand-up comedian and have some rules of the road to share, give us a shout. Just email billyboy@openmicturnpike.com. We're always up for a good road trip. Thanks to Dario Durham, thanks to Mickey's Retro Grill, and thanks to my buddies. But most of all, thanks to you. Thanks for supporting the show, and thanks for keeping stand-up comedy thriving. I'm Billy Boy from Chicago, Illinois, and this is the Open Mic Turnpike.